What if there was some crazy world where Game Freak made another 1,000+ designs for every Pokemon, where every shiny Pokemon has its own unique evolution? Well, I thought it'd be fun to get some unique shinies and give them new evolutions. A new exclusive club that only takes thousands of eggs, or a delicious sandwich to acquire. Let's just jump straight into some shiny boys. Let's start off strong with one of my first shinies in Sword and Shield. It was as I was filling out my Pokedex and a random patch of grass gave me this red little battery boy that then evolved into Genji, my shiny Vikavolt. You'd think that looking at this thing would be super fast. Nope. But we ain't here for that, we're here to evolve our little red bug. My idea was incredibly simple. Look at this little red lad and see if this single word springs an image into your mind. Bus. Anything? Well, okay, when I see Charjabug shiny, I think of those red buses that are primarily in kind of the UK, which is, funny because of the game I found Genji in. And what does a bus evolve into? Well, a double-decker bus, of course. All you have to do is give it the mechanic stone and it evolves. That's how engineering works, right? I wanted to go a bit of a Paldean Evo route for this one, instead of a more subtle jump in the design here. Obviously much bigger and buggier, especially seeing as it now is some kind of strange double-decker bug bus. I thought it'd be quite cute if the main Charjabug that has the feet, those little battery connector pincers flatten out and now become little headlights for the two. I kept the other pair of pincers though, and it turns it into this cute little demon bus too. The problem with this is that it had to kind of stay bug electric typing. It's too iconic and fitting for this to change. So yip cheerio and all those British things, let's jump into the double-decker bus. Double-decker, the bus Pokemon, a bug and electric type. Evolves from shiny Charjabug with a Thunderstone in Galar. Unlike the usual evolutions, Double-decker are incredibly speedy, using specialized pads to swiftly run about, leaving dust in their wake. They adore ferrying smaller Pokemon around, their rubbery body capable of traveling across most terrain with ease. Pokemon will give Double-decker little trinkets as thanks. In battle, Double-decker will fling dirt from its feet into the enemy's eyes, and then ram them full speed with a shocking headbutt. This force is strong enough to paralyze even the largest of Pokemon. Double-decker have the ability Speed Boost and Battery. So all of these were a mix between using the Shiny Hunter randomizer and my own shiny likes for the most part. So this next one, Shiny Cyndaquil, is from the Hunter. That sounds more menacing than it should, but I thought we could go for a bit of a Hisuian form deal with this, keeping similar to Typhlosion with its own unique spin. Because it's going from that pleasing darker colour to a more brown colour, I thought of making it a ground fire type instead, something that many Mega Typhlosion designs seek to use. My initial ideas was this roiling storm of a Pokemon based on those sort of lightning storms that come with a volcanic eruption. It was cool, but I wanted to avoid having it be fully related to electric type and have a semblance to Typhlosion's fire type. So I opted more for a plume of volcanic ash billowing out the back of it and some little lightning bolt shaped fur tufts as a callback to the previous concept. This is like Typhlosion's even angrier and more aggressive cousin. I think although Sand Rush works well as an ability, Anger Point or even Lightning Rod would have been good complements as well. If it didn't have Blaze, it would have had them, I guess. That's the thanks it gets for being a starter Pokemon. Volcrash, the volcanic ash Pokemon, a fire and ground type. Evolves from shiny Cyndaquil at level 36. Volcrash have wild attitudes that match their explosive wild combat styles. Hidden beneath the plume of volcanic ash are vents that contain powerful fire jets and volcanic rocks. When enraged, they unleash this payload like a literal volcano. It loves to bury beneath the ground to sleep, their backs just above the surface. If stepped on, Volcrash unleashes a blast of fire like stepping on a landmine. When Volcrash do calm down, their plume moves lazily along. These peaceful moments never last though. Volcrash have the abilities Blaze and Sand Rush. Next I got a little Lucario here with its shiny being gold in colour. I think you can guess what I went for here. I'm a sucker for Egyptian mythology, so being able to turn Lucario even more Egyptian was a treat. My idea here wasn't to change Lucario too much in his new evolution, sort of bedazzling the doggy. I had two big ideas in mind here. The first being that its head would be a bit more looking like an angular sort of pharaoh mask that you'd see on a sarcophagus, as well as bringing in one of my favourite weapons of all time, the Khopesh. This cool Egyptian curved blade that some of my favourite characters like Diana from League of Legends and Slight and Carmen Cooper. Okay, he's not my favourite character, I just wanted to say play Sly Cooper, dang it. I wanted it to be a bit like Berserker, where its claws could extend out into the Khopesh themselves, making this sort of cool thing that steel types could do, just extending parts of their bodies into weapons. I mean, Lucario already had those weird hand spikes, so it's a natural progression. Weird to think that I've done multiple mummy designs that use sort of bandage wrapping accents, and here is no different. I thought it'd help the silhouette a bit to add in some flowing bandage wraps for the back, as well as make the tail look a bit like one as well. Ancario, the Jackal Pokemon, a steel and fighting type, evolves from shiny Lucario with a Dawnstone. In ancient times it was said that Ancario was seen as a deity that would punish the wicked and send them to the afterlife for their wrongdoings. The steel bumps on the hands and feet of Ancario are capable of being extended to tough curved claws that they would use to hook onto their foes and rend them. It uses a lot of energy, so only 2 claws can be extended at a time. In modern times, people own Ancario for not only its strength but the glittering sheen of their body and gems. Ancario have the ability Steadfast and Sharpness. Shiny Wimpod was next on the radar. A really cool colour scheme for the shiny, and it reminded me of something very specific, and that was Gurren Lagann. I had this idea in my head of this almost semi-mech looking isopod, a bit head-like, just how like most of the Gurren Lagann mechs are. Taking a bit of a divergence from that of Golisopod being more of a samurai isopod. Here I wanted to be a big weeb and give the face of Mechapod here a big star-like glasses look to it that would lead into long red antennae, and I think that the shiny Wimpod face is what gave me the main idea for that part. The biggest difficulty was making it look like some sort of head mecha statue without making it look really goofy and still keep that general isopod look. Mecha design has never been really my strong suit. Making future paradoxes has surprisingly helped a lot in doing that, but having it in between of a flesh mecha is something completely different. But luckily, it's a bug-like creature, which are essentially nature's own mechas, right? I ended up giving him these little spiky gauntlet hands for punching, where you just know I was planning on giving it drill-like parts instead. Luckily, self-control won this day. No, only slightly. Mechapod, the victory Pokemon, a steel and bug type. Evolves from shiny Wimpod after winning 20 battles with them. With the power of victory coursing through Wimpod, it evolves into this form, gaining a burning desire to protect others and the strength to do so. Their feet contain small holes in which they can fire out pressurized air to jet in both the sea and on land. They will then quickly strike with powerful steely hard claws capable of punching holes in rocks. Smaller Pokemon flock to Mechapod for guidance and protection. Mechapod will never falter in bringing safety and justice to all. Mechapod have the abilities Justified and Victory Star. A lot of bug types this episode, huh? Well, the next is part of my favourite bug type line, the Scolipede line. Specifically Whirlipede, our little wheel bug. Could put these guys on Dubug Decker and drive off. When I saw this cute little chunky wheel ladder, I kind of had a fun idea. Instead of it becoming this super fast Megapede horse, what if we inversted it and made it into a super slow Megapede grub? I don't know what is even the opposite of a horse. It doesn't matter. I wanted this large, almost like Ohm from Nausicaa Valley of the Wind kind of design. This big tanky bug covered in toxic spikes that would be so dang slow. I really loved how this design came together, and I'm going to say that I attribute it all to the banger design aesthetics of the pre-existing evolution line. I can imagine this Pokemon being sent out in the anime and being made fun of just for sort of standing still doing nothing, but any attack that hits it just bounces off or is met with toxic spikes just being launched all over the battlefield. Take that, physical attackers. But problem is, it looks like it needs a hug. I want to give it a hug, please. Bulkipede, the Bastion Pokemon, a poison and bug type, evolves from shiny Whirlipede at level 30 while holding a protector. While Scolipede are known for their speed, Bulkipede are known for their utmost defense. Their large carapace are lined with toxic spikes that can be scattered about the battlefield as well. These spines quickly regrow thanks to the stock of nutrients Bulkipede has. It has a large posse of Venipede and Whirlipede by its side that do its bidding, helping with the tasks that require a swift hand. This can lead to Bulkipede and Scolipede butting heads, disputing who is in control of the herd. Whoever wins, the other leaves in shame. Bulkipede have the abilities Toxic Debris and Corrosion. So unlike with Bulkipede just before Glameow here in its shiny is going to take a different turn. I have a big love for Perugli's design. I like cat Pokemon, they're fun, and Perugly has a fun, silly design that just works on so many levels. Gotta love a big sassy cat Pokemon. So for Glameow's new evolution, it's going to be taking on a pinker form. And I thought what better than to give it this older debonair lady evolution that continues with the Perugly trend of using their fluffy tails for sort of fashion trends. This time it was going to be a sort of stole that wraps around the Pokemon's neck. It does have like a fat neck or anything, although that'd be hilarious. The reason for this is sort of a defensive measure to protect their precious neck meats. I really tried hard to sell an almost older fashion designer grumpy old lady, something a bit like the Devil Wears Prada or Cruella de Vil, all sassy and the like, feeling like an older, more distinguished Glameow. To tie this all together, I decided this would be a Kalos-only evolution, under the name Ula Nya. You know, like Ula La, Kalos sort of feels like the most trendy and fashion-focused region so far. Very normal type for this one. Psychic may have worked well here too, but very fit, seeing as it was also introduced in the region. Ula Nya, the debonair Pokemon, a fairy and normal type, evolves from shiny Glameow with a Dawnstone in Kalos. Fancy and light on their feet, Ula Nya are only created from the finest of Glameow, much to the chagrin of Perugly everywhere. In the past, Ula Nya in the wild would battle each other and damage their exposed necks, and so adapted their tail fluff to cover the weak point with a strong, yet soft, neck ruffle. If Ula Nya gets dirtied, it will show no mercy to the offender. It prefers not to use its nails and will instead fire off blasts of energy from their mouth. Ula Nya have the abilities Cute Charm and Rivalry. Our final Pokemon for the video is a little Phanpy. Look at him, I'm so proud of you, you little shiny lad. From first glance, it really made me think of some kind of little water firefighting elephant, which I love and is in such stark contrast to Donphan. I had to do it. I wanted to keep that same stocky stoutness that Donphan and I guess the Paradox forms have. This one plays into those red and blues to provide us with a new water type evolution that would use its stocky body to hold massive amounts of water and a big old nose hole for blasting away the fires. I tried to keep it very sort of fireman emergency vehicle look with it having this utility, as well as a silly tusk looking much like rolled up fire hose. Kinda useless, but I guess when you have the ability to just launch gallons of water out with great force, you don't need tusks that much anymore. This was one of the ones in this set, including Bulkipede, that made me stop and go, whoa, I actually feel like this design could be a legit design. So I guess that is a good feeling for progress. It only took a week of having no internet and total insanity to get it. I'll write that one down for the Pokemon style tutorial hint for a later video. Hydrofan, the Douse Pokemon, a water and ground type, evolves from shiny Phanpy with a Water Stone. Hydrofan contain a special organ made for holding copious amounts of water. When needed, it can expel it all at once or slowly. It is used by firefighters often as a way to quickly respond to fires. In the wild, Hydrofan are more aggressive, usually using their high-pressure water to push away any would-be threat, even going so far as to launch them off high cliffs. Hydrofan and Donphan rarely get along, leading to territory disputes, usually with Donphan losing thanks to Hydrofan's type advantage. Hydrofan have the abilities Thick Fat and Mega Launcher. So what did you think of this idea? What Pokemon shiny do you think would make a good unique evolution? Comment it down below, as well as if you want more shiny evolutions in the future. Who knows, maybe I'll do some of them in that video. Don't forget as well to like and sub and share this video around. Thanks so much for watching, you little shinies.